Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a very exclusive and special interview at the Emmy Studios. And here, yours truly, Ali Mehdaoui. I got two individuals that I definitely am super excited about, and I'm proud to sit next to. The very first one is Kevin Gonzalez. I've known him, and many of you have seen many of my stories and many of the reels and many of the recommendations and everything that I share because he owns Activity First Physical Therapy clinic right here in Eatontown, New Jersey. And the second gentleman is Bob Berg, who not only from the police officer from the force, not only worked in many different elements, and he and along with Kevin Gonzalez, as his running mate, are your candidates for the Borough of Eatontown Councilman. And I'm excited to support, not only I'm excited to help, not only I'm excited I guess if my endorsement means anything to you, to endorse, but I'm going to support all the way until the celebration and the swearing ceremony, because I truly believe in their core values, in their moral values, their work ethic, and exactly what Eatontown, where I live, where my children go to school, where my wife and I own our business. And we see a better future. So I thought maybe we have this interview and ask some relevant, incredible, amazing questions for you, the Eatontown potential constituent, to hear from and learn a little bit more about who they are. So first of all, gentlemen, thank you so much for giving me this exclusive. I am feeling excited, happy,
Thank you.
and grateful, of course. So let's get right into it. Talk to me, Kevin. Why don't we start with you? A little bit about your background. I know I've had you in different interviews in different settings for your business, but today, as a future councilman of Eatontown, New Jersey, tell us a little bit about that side of Kevin, because you're not a career politician. There's no surprise about it.
No.
So why now? What made you say let's do it? And what are we excited about to learn about Kevin, the future councilman?
Okay. Well, first of all, I've always volunteered in town, whether I was a baseball coach, basketball coach, Cub Scout leader. I've always done things for the town. And actually, before I really got involved with anything on a political side, I actually was on the Recreation Advisory Committee for a while, appointed by Jerry Tarantolo back in 2009. So I've always been involved in town, a couple of civic associations in the development that I live. So I've always wanted to get involved with town, and I was on the Board of Ed. I was elected member of the Board of Ed for about 9 or 10 years, and I have been a previous councilman in the past. So I've owned a business in town for almost 20 years. I've been a physical therapist for over 30. So I've always tried to stay involved in as much as I can in the town that I've raised my family in. My wife and I got married in '96. We moved here, bought a house in Eatontown. We lived in an apartment right in Wedgwood Circle, right in Eatontown, next to off Pine Brook Road. And when we wanted to buy a house, we loved Eatontown so much that we said, hey, let's find a house at Eatontown. And that's what we did. So we've been here and we haven't looked back. We love it. Our kids are now pretty much grown. They're 27, 24, and 21. And we couldn't be more prouder. And I hope I can give back to Eatontown now.
I feel like you wanted to give a special shout out to Andrew specifically.
Andrew, my 21-year-old.
That's just for you, Andrew.
He just turned 21 2 weeks ago.
There you go.
So he's loving life and he's doing so great. I couldn't be more proud.
Bob, it seems like you've had a career over a career already. You've done well for yourself. You moved with your beautiful bride to Eatontown by choice. So, like I tell everybody, when it comes to my faith, a lot of people, they hear Ali and they assume that I'm Muslim. And I was born and raised in a Muslim country, but I chose my faith, right? Love and respect everybody, but I chose Team Jesus, right? So it's not like I was just brought up into it. You chose Eatontown. So tell us a little bit about why and the motivation. And, we know there's a lot of crazy out there and there's a lot of things that we are frustrated about. But what is it that said, I can make a difference for you and for your beautiful bride as well?
Well, Ali, thank you for having us. We really appreciate this platform here. I being a police officer and now working in Department of Public Works, I said to myself, I have 6 grandchildren and 2 beautiful daughters and son-in-laws. I'm going to make a difference in this area.
Yeah.
Now, Eatontown, I got to tell you, I've been here for 5 years and we found a home. And there's a lot going on here. And I feel that we need the right people in place. We need the checks and balances. We need the transparency in order to go forward in Eatontown. We have a lot going on, and my grandchildren will probably be in my house one day because I'm going to give it to them, and I want them to grow up in Eatontown and have a nice town. I want them to be respected, for living in Eatontown and having all the things that they want. So, in order for my kids, my grandchildren, my wife, and myself just living here, we want it to be nice.
I love that. And let me stay with you for a second. One of the things from the last event that we've had that I heard a lot about was the lack of transparency, or at least it feels like there is no transparency in the current administration right now, or the individuals that are serving in office. What does that look like from your vantage point? Like what does transparency look like to you, or how do we showcase or reestablish the trust with the 12,000 plus Eatontown residents when it comes to transparency?
Well, that's the whole thing. We have 12,000 residents, and I've been going to the council meetings, and just a few people show up.
Yeah,
and I think a lot of it has to do with the top. I mean, they're not talking to the people. There's not a newsletter. I don't get.
I don't know who the mayor is or what he looks like. I'm just that's yeah. I mean, I know his name from the recent conversations,
Yeah.
but as somebody who pays taxes here, I have no idea who the mayor is. No dig on you, sir.
No. He's a nice guy. He's a nice guy, but we need a little more transparency.
Yeah,
is what I'm saying. He's got to let the folks know what's going on. There's been a talk about ever since I came to Eatontown about getting a new building, and they talk about it and they talk about it. Well, it's happening now, but now it's not being talked about as much. So that's what I'm trying to say. I mean, the word was out, and we're going to get a new building. We're going to, things are bad. The roof here, this it's too small. We can't fit everybody. The police department doesn't have, what they need. And, I can understand that, but be transparent. Let the people know what's going on. Don't just throw it on us all of a sudden. And with the taxes now, how they've gone up.
they just gone up 10% just 3 weeks ago.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm saying. I mean, people, they're getting their tax statements, and it's one of those things where I'm going door to door now, and people are fed up. They're saying we need a change. Bob, if you get in there, change it. So that's.
Yeah, I love that.
I'm hoping to do it now. I'm hoping there's more transparency, and that's what I want to bring. I want to bring in a newsletter every 3 months. Every 3 months, let our people of Eatontown know what's going on in the town.
See, that I can get excited about it. One of the things that I love, we go to church, we go to the same church, and every single Sunday the bulletin in the back tells you exactly how much was collected. Exactly. It tells you exactly, what was the tithing, what was the offering, what it's going to be used for, and it gives you the sense of like, cool, all right, let's go, let's keep going and moving forward. So I totally get that. Let me turn to you, Kevin, when it comes to fiscal responsibility. We were talking earlier about how the Borough could be potential tens of millions of dollars, speculated, nothing on black on white, at least just yet. First of all, what many probably are thinking, is that even a priority right now? Can we use those tens of millions of dollars on other areas that are more relevant? Or how do you see it from, again, the business owner lenses? And then, of course, the future councilman, because we're going to win of Eatontown.
With fiscal responsibility, just to touch on Bob's point about, and your point about Borough Hall, the new Borough Hall. I mean, yes, the building that we have right now is definitely has seen better days. It needs some major repair work, but we really have to balance. Can we just repair what's going on, what we have there, or do we really need a brand new building? In this economy, I mean, people's taxes, you mentioned up, went up 10%. I'm talking with some people, it went up 15%.
That's great.
And is this a real time to float a bond to go for more money from the taxpayers? I don't think it's really a necessary thing we need to spend money on right now. I really, really don't. I think we have to prioritize with Netflix coming in, with redeveloping the mall. I think we have to make sure that is developed in a very common sense and smart. We need a very smart approach and how that's being managed and governed. But we don't need a new borough hall right now.
Yeah.
And it went from being talked about. Now, I will say, when I was on the council back in 2010, it was discussed. And we went through a couple of studies and nothing ever happened. And now all of a sudden, it seems like, from what I'm hearing, it's full speed ahead. And, there really is not that much thought put into making this decision. And that concerns me.
Interesting. With opportunities comes responsibility. I'm not trying to take away from Spider-Man. I know he said it a little bit different, but Netflix is a huge opportunity, gentlemen. I know for myself, I'm like, I can't wait because of the traffic that it's going to drive. But I also believe that you talk about transparency, to manage people's expectations that, hey, don't think that your house is going to become 1,000%, up in value and taxes are going to flow and everything's going to be great. There are some battles to still be taken and some opportunities. You can tell me a little bit about how you see it from again, is Netflix going to be the biggest boom for Eatontown, and or are there some things that need to be done?
Do you want to take it?
Well, I mean, Netflix is going to be a great thing for Eatontown and Oceanport.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be really, really great, but it's going to take time. Like, it's not like Netflix is going to come in and we're going to be rolling in money. And because, I mean, listen, the state's taking care of Netflix as it is, and it's going to take time for Netflix to get going. So, and they're saying anywhere now between 3-5 years. I mean, for them really to get their productions going and everything else. So, I mean, they're talking about a new building, new borough hall, and now you got the mall coming in. So you got a bunch of different things going on. I like to talk about the broken window thing here. We got to clean up the town. All right. There's potholes. I mean, you go in the municipal building parking lot.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I go through it every single day, and it's like,
I mean, oh my goodness. I mean, let's fix these things.
Yeah.
I mean, because if you start fixing those things, they'll go in line. But it's like we're ignoring those things now.
Yeah.
They've got to be.
I worked in the restaurant business, and Damian Woods, shout out to you wherever you are in life, 17 years ago, he would always say, the most important place for us in a restaurant is our bathrooms. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he goes like, because if somebody walks into a bathroom and they see paper, and the brain automatically says, if this is your front that I have access to, what's your back looking like? So when I see the potholes and whatnot, that's what I usually think about. I'm like, if you can't manage your own parking lot, how are you going to manage $1 billion infrastructure building that is coming into our neighborhood? And I appreciate that, the broken window theory. I like that a lot. Taxes are something that you two gentlemen are going to have a front row seat to. Help us understand, what kind of impact do you feel like you can create, and what kind of struggle or opportunities you're going to have to confront and battle?
Right. Well, definitely when you're dealing with taxes, when you're dealing with a municipal budget is completely different than dealing with a zero-based budget like most businesses deal with. A lot of similarities, but there are a lot of stark differences as well. And when you look at the budget, you really have to prioritize what needs to get done. And that brings us to where we have to spend our money. We should be spending our money and prioritizing it on potholes and infrastructure repair, which there is money that goes into fixing that, but obviously maybe it's not allocated either in the right areas, or we're not allocating enough money. But we really have to take care of the infrastructure first.
I'm Kevin Gonzalez, and I'm running for councilman right here in the borough of Eatontown. This town isn't just where I live. It's where I raised my family, built my business, and made lifelong friendships. I've seen the good in Eatontown, and I've also seen where we can do better together. I believe in common sense leadership. That means keeping taxes low. Families and small businesses like mine are already working hard to make ends meet. The last thing we need is more financial pressure from town hall. I'll fight to protect our wallet and make sure every one of your tax dollars is spent wisely. I believe in smart development, not just throwing up more buildings, but planning for growth that actually works for us. New projects should improve our roads, help our local businesses, and make life better for the people who already live here, not just for the outside developers. And I believe in responsible budgeting. As a business owner, I've had to make tough decisions, set priorities, and stretch a dollar when times were tight. I'll bring that same discipline to our local government. No waste, no nonsense, just smart choices that puts Eatontown first. At the end of the day, I'm not a career politician. I'm your neighbor, dad, a husband, and a business owner. I'm stepping up because I care about our future and I want Eatontown to be strong, safe, affordable for years to come. I'd be honored to earn your vote, so please remember to vote for Kevin Gonzalez and Robert Berg on November 4th. Thank you for your
And we have to make sure that our taxes are spent wisely and not just spending on projects that that will not benefit the residents of Eatontown.
Do you feel, may I have permission to push?
Of course.
This is where I love Kevin. He's like, all right, you got my permission. Do you feel like you actually have the ability to create impact, or are your hands tied and it's like, hopefully we can make it happen? Because for me, as I love you to death, I know you, I've loved you to death because I got to learn who you are and learn about your core values, right? But I'm a voter as well, right? Okay. Is there, like, because this is the defining moment for many, I believe, including myself, are your hands tied? Because this is going to make me even want to vote, like stronger than ever and make sure that all my family do as well here in Eatontown.
There are some things where we have no control over. Like, for example, the salaries in town, which are pretty much 75% of the budget. The salaries, they're all contracted with those prospective bargaining units, where you're talking about the borough employees, the police officers, that you really don't have too much control over that. But what we do have control is the expenditure portion. And that's where it gets back to what I mentioned earlier. We have to make sure that we're spending our taxpayer dollars wisely. And that's where we have control.
Which comes back to the broken window theory and transparency. I like where you guys are. I see what's happening in here.
So that can be an immediate impact.
Yeah. Okay. Good. You talked about the mall. You talked about Netflix. I think there's even bigger opportunities. I see growth happening, construction everywhere, and a lot of people are saying, I got to come into Eatontown, which leads to the development opportunities. With development, we need manpower, we need budget, we need infrastructure. Are we anticipating that Eatontown will be able to handle it and keep our work and our opportunities in town? Or are we going to see the big rat because the union is going to be saying, oh, you went and hired somebody from out of town?
I mean, anytime you have a big development, that's always a risk. I mean, when they were doing work, I believe it was somewhere on 35, you had the big rat sitting out there because they claimed that no union labor was being used. But you do the best you can in terms of the kind of development that we want to attract. Eatontown in the past has had a very, and you're talking many years ago, had a very negative stigma in terms of attracting new businesses for many different reasons. Part of it was they didn't like the way you put a permit through and it took forever for that permit to go through the process, or just approvals for the building department or other approvals to go through the Eatontown system. That has gotten much better. We want to make sure, though, it's even more streamlined. So we are an attractive place. So if you want to come and develop a business in town, or you want to start a business in town, the administrative part in terms of getting and opening your doors is not a stress for you. You have other things to worry about when you're trying to own a business and trying to start a business. Going through the administrative process shouldn't be one of them.
Well, we talk about common sense leadership. That's something that you've been talking about a lot. John C. Maxwell, one of my mentors, he always talks about the law of the lid. You are only as good as the person who's leading the boat, right? And there are some questions about the local leadership and the competence, or maybe even the priorities of the local leadership. Just to your point, like the fact that we don't hear from the local leadership, and there's this separation until it's time for, let's go knock on some doors to get some votes. It's silent. What does the leadership look like under your leadership? How does the communication with the counterparties and, the individuals from the other side of the aisle, because you're going to have to deal with people that you might not agree with. Talk to me about your leadership style and what you're hoping that it's going to look like under your leadership?
Well, I know Bob and I, we've spent a lot of time with each other. We've known each other for many years now. And, I don't want to speak for him, but I'm sure he won't mind me saying this, but we've talked about this before, and we want to have an open door policy. And I'm not saying the people up there at the council leadership and even the mayor, they're affable guys and gals. They're wonderful people. They really, really are. So I don't want to knock them from that aspect, but I just think there are certain things that I think Bob and I can bring to the table a little bit differently. And I think we have a different approach that I think will benefit the taxpayer in general.
Yes.
Bob?
Exactly. I mean, we talked about it. You need an open door policy. The transparency right now, there is none. And we need to get that back. And, the mayor said rumors, there's all these rumors going around. Rumors are going around because there's no transparency. If the people knew what was going on, then there wouldn't be any rumors. So let's when Kevin and I get in, all right, it's going to be 3-3 as far as council
Voting power. Yeah.
Yes. Now the mayor, he's going to have to make the tiebreaker, and I don't think he likes to make. I don't think he's ever made the tie breaking decision.
Isn't it 5-1 right now?
Right
as
now
far
it's
as
5-1.
Democratic seats to one. I mean, talk about majority.
And
And
the mayor's Democrat.
no checks or balances. I mean, they everything they want, everything the mayor wants, he gets. And I'm just being honest now, So when Kevin and I need to get in there, and we need to make the checks and balances for the mayor and for the town, for the people of Eatontown. And it's kind of crazy at this level of politics, Democrats, Republicans. We want the same thing as the Democrats want. We just want to do it. We want to get in there, and we want to make the roads better. We want to make the streets safer. We want people to come, the businesses to come in, like Netflix and the mall and everything that's going on. We want all of that. And if we're going to make a new building, let's do it the right way. Let's get analysis. Let's get traffic. Let's figure everything out. Let's do it right from the get-go. And let's do it right.
This last general population that just passed almost 6-7 months ago, we've learned a lot about ourselves as a country. I know myself, a lot has changed for me. I've voted Democrat in the past, and I've voted Republican in the past, and I went back and forth based on where we are, right? Okay, I'm going to look at your report card for the last 4 years as a party with your priorities and where I am. And, and I feel like that should be at least common sense, making a decision. But this last election has kind of was a revelation that the country is tired.
Right.
Exhausted. To your point, we all want the same exact thing, but there's a the foundation that we all feel that it needs to go as that. And by the way, you're talking, for those of you who are watching, I was born and raised in a third world country, in a Muslim country. I came to the States saying me no English. I was homeless once upon a time. So I probably check off all the demographics,
Right.
And for me to sit here, many people are going to be like, this doesn't make sense. So there's some of my Democratic friends who are probably glitching right now. Like, what's happening? Something isn't right. I love and I respect everybody, and I think you should do whatever is right for you. But I genuinely believe that our future is our children.
Yes.
And in the last, I'd say probably 12 years, the liberal movement, progressive movement has kind of went a little bit on the far side, not just, excluding anybody. I love my friends from different sides of the aisle, but it kind of went a little bit too far for the sake of our children. That's what's important to me as a voter. My child is the future, period. And I want the best for him, our executive producer sitting on the other side. And I believe that everybody wants the same exact thing.
Right.
So I plead with you, gentlemen, please, for the love of God, don't forget about the children and the education system, however much that it is within your own folders and everything that you're going to have to deal with. But the children are suffering. As a parent, the school system, the teachers are overworked and underpaid. I go to every single activity, whether it's daytime or afternoon. I never miss anything for the kids. I support, I volunteer, I donate, but the children are suffering right now. And they're in this little battle of liberal, I'm going to just go ahead and say it. There's a lot of LGBTQ plus communities that are going into the school system, which again, as an adult, as a grown up, God bless you. Do whatever makes you happy. Leave my child out of your agenda, though.
Right.
That is what I'm asking. So I appreciate the both of you having the core values that are good for my son. You do what's right for you and your kids, but you're doing the right thing for, selfishly speaking, my son. And for that reason, and the taxes and everything else that we just kind of discussed, you got my vote. You got like 100% of my support. And I'm going to come back to you. You are coining mega, make Eatontown great again.
Right.
So tell me a little bit about, because you smile every time we say make Eatontown great again. I know. Yeah, please.
Because I love that red hat. And you're going to see me in town with that red hat. I mean, I'm going to be all over it. And you're going to see a lot of red hats out there.
We spotted you on Eatontown nights because of it. Yeah.
I mean, listen, my wife, she's great. She buys the hats, and Maria, she embroiders them. And you're going to see tons of people around with the red hats. Make Eatontown great again, because that's what we want to do. And that's our platform, and we're going to do it.
Beautiful. Kevin, how can the viewers support? What would you say? Obviously, we got the Eatontown Republican page, which I'm going to make sure that is in the caption. We have a website that is being updated as we speak, and there is a form that is also in the description right now with this episode. Please make sure you click on it. It gives you the ability to message, or rather email, these two gentlemen directly, where you put your name and say, hey, I'm a resident of Eatontown. This is what's important to me. And they may be able to communicate with you directly. They may answer, or you may influence what's their priority in the agenda. Because look, if there are 12,000 of us in here and 10,000 out of 12 say taxes, 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 you know what they're going to put on top of their list: taxes, Netflix, the mall, or whatever it may be. So as we're coming to the end, Bob, any final remarks for our viewers and listeners?
I just appreciate you putting our platform out there. I really do. And I mean, you're going to have a hat. Your wife's going to have a hat. Your kids are going to have
My wife threatened. She's like, you're not coming home without a hat.
So, I mean, listen, we just want to do the right thing.
Yeah.
And we want your vote. We want your vote. And Kevin and I will do what we have to do to get this town, to get right and to make it the way it should be. Kevin?
Well, I agree with everything that Bob has said. And I also want to say, to reiterate what you mentioned about the form to fill out. Bob and I, we are knocking on doors. If we have to make a phone call, we'll call you. We'll make an appointment. We'll go to your house. We'll make sure you're on our list when your street is on that list, and we'll go and knock on your door and we'll have a discussion. We want to know. We can't make these decisions in a vacuum. We want to get as much feedback as we can from residents. We hope to represent you for the next 3 years, and we need your help to make that happen. Hopefully, our priorities will align, and hopefully, we'll earn your vote on November 4th.
And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Just like Kevin, just like Bob, my name is Ali Mehdaoui, and I am an Eatontown resident. I own a business in Eatontown, and I want to see Eatontown become great again. Until next time, much love, and we'll see you next time.
My name is Robert Berg, but you can call me Bob. I'm a Republican candidate for the Eatontown Borough Council. My wife Carol and I moved here after my family relocated in the area, and Eatontown is my home. People ask me why I'm running. The answer is simple. I care about the community, and I have experience to make a difference. I've served over 30 years in public service. After college, I taught high school for 2.5 years. I then became a police officer and starting in the Sheriff's Department and corrections, then moving to the courtrooms and warrant service. I spent more than 2 decades with the Atlantic City Police Department on patrol, doing the domestic violence and the community relations, and finally, executive protection. While protecting a high-level government official, I was seriously injured in the line of duty after 5 surgeries and physical therapy. I was blessed to continue serving, this time with the local Department of Public Works. I now help coordinate facilities, enforce codes, and support our Parks and Recreation Department. I know the value of hard work. I'm not afraid to do it. Eatontown is growing fast, and it's a challenge protecting the quality of our families deserve. That means getting the basics right, safer roads, well-kept parks, responsible spending. We need data-driven decisions about our taxes and economic growth. Big projects, Borough Hall, should never be rushed. They deserve a full, careful analysis and make sure that they meet Eatontown's needs. As your councilman, I will work with the residents, businesses, and develop our first responders, police, fire, and emergency management. I'll strengthen communications and our partners at Fort Monmouth, Tinton Falls, Oceanport, Monmouth County, and the state of New Jersey. My platform is simple. Eatontown comes first. This isn't about blue or red. It's about safe streets, wise land use, parks and taxes, and common sense. We will rebuild our roads. We will revitalize our parks. We will keep families safe. And we will make smart deals, and we will make Eatontown great again. Together, we'll cut through the red tape. We will make government accountable to people it serves. I'm Bob Berg. I'm asking for your vote on November 4th. Let's make Eatontown great again.